Regulation law to Senator Mitchell, and therefore I hope that you will take, I know you'll take it seriously, or you wouldn't be in this job, but what you do affects all the people of the state and the people yet unborn, and not only in the state of Maine, but in the nation. We are part of the nation. I know we're blasting Massachusetts, but we sometimes send our kids to college there. So, now, my concern here is the public utilities law. And what it is that as Harold Pacia said at that hearing, that CMP is a public utility and its job is to generate power, which they did at the time, and also to distribute the power. The PUC acted as a balancing act, in a sense of making sure that it was generated efficiently and that the consumer paid a fair rate, and so on. But right now, what's involved in this issue here is this mitigation thing. This corporation has come in, and it's picking winners and losers right now. And it came in, and I picked this up at the last hearing, created something called the Western Mountains and Rivers Corporation. It says CMP on it. From what I understand, they've put some people can correct me, because they put $250,000 in escrow. The people who were on this committee are basically people who, well, Susie Hockmeyer of Northern Outdoors, Joe Christopher of Three Rivers, Larry Warren of Hudson Trails, and then they put a few people on it. Probably it's expanded now to basically make it look official, like Sandra Thompson, who's the first selectman of the Forks here, Lloyd Trafton, who's the county commissioner, and they got Peter Mills in there somehow. So the thing is that if I look at what they're doing here, essentially on this, is that, first of all, there's going to be $2 million given, supposedly, for this choice group of people to decide how it's going to be spent. It doesn't take into consideration the rest of us. This was a done deal. And they got up at the last meeting and said, this is a done deal. But the person from Central Maine said, it's not a done deal. Because Sleeping Giant is arising right now with all the people who, you look at the roads and what's going on at the hearings. Now, I look here and I see the one thing that concerns me is the Forks to Caratunk. You can put a canoe in and go down that river, and it's as beautiful as the Allagash River. It hits the highway in different places. And the land on that river, for example, 2 of the companies have campgrounds on that river, and it says here that basically that they'll be able to buy these. In other words, CMP is now not just generating electricity, but they're taking care of the friends that they have, because the linchpin of this whole deal is, because people see it, is this Kennebec Gorge. So if you're going to put a wire across it, then turn around and pay these people off for their losses. Well, I guided. I make a statement. I mean, I say it doesn't belong across the gorge. The line, if it does have to go, belongs across the dam, where it belongs. But that line going across that gorge on the lower end of it, in my opinion, is not going to affect their profit and loss statement. In other words, people are still going to have a good time, but it doesn't belong across the gorge. But they've jumped on this, say CMP and these companies, to basically say the line across the gorge is the loss of our business, and therefore now, possibly in the future, they can buy land along the river. One of the major companies is for sale for $4.5 million. If that company's for sale and the land is bought by them, it's now a campground. And a campground you don't see too much, but if we start having houses along the river one day by a new owner. So I love this area, like most people do here. And I still can't get rid of my New York accent, but I've been here since I was a kid. And I came up as to a summer camp, fell in love with the Kennebec, and it's a tremendous responsibility. I don't know, I asked the question in the beginning on what the PUC what their issues, what concerns them, under their law, which I don't exactly know with this project here. But I hope you'll look into this and know that many people love and care about this Kennebec River and that great western Maine swath, which, it's cut over land, a lot of it. But trees do grow back, and they don't grow back with power lines, and it affects views from mountains and so on. So anyway, I'm sorry to talk so long. Thank you.
Well, that's what it is.
Okay, I've got 12 names left on the list. I want to check in to see if all 12 are still here, and if I could get an estimate for how much time you anticipate using in your testimony. I don't want to stop you. I just want to figure out. We're going to take a break again soon. So I'm going to read names. If you could let me know if you're here, and then give me an estimate for how much time you think your testimony will take. That will help me with my scheduling. Next up, it's actually two people. It's Dwayne Hanson and Sally Kwan. Yes, how long do you think you're going to be?
Like 5 minutes.
Okay. And after that, Peggy Dwyer? Yes.
3 minutes.
Okay. Kimberly Lyman?
Under 5 minutes.
Okay. Mary Haley?
She left on submitting her testimony.
Okay. Howard, it looks like Stagg, is that correct?
That's correct, 5 minutes.
You got it, okay.
Matt Wagner?
How many minutes?
5 to 8 minutes, maybe.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Ron McKenzie?
5, yeah. Oh, no. 7.5.
7.5. All right, good, that's the precision, I like that. Taylor Walker, or Waller. No, Walker.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
5, okay. Greg Caruso,
3 minutes.
thank you. Elizabeth Caruso.
I'll just submit. I don't have a problem.
Say it again?
I'll just submit.
Okay. Edward Beauchamp
5 minutes.
and Heather Sylvester.
Less than 5.
Okay, great. So hold on, let me do this here. We got 8, 13, 30. It looks like we've got about an hour left. So,
8:40.
if we have an hour left, when do you want to break? Now is good. All right, so we're going to take a 5-minute break.